All right. Well, I'm pleased to be joined by Lynn Littlejohn, Vice President of Community Affairs and Development with Mortenson. Lynn, how are you doing today?
I am doing as well as we can be doing on the eve of our second annual Construction Inclusion Week, but thanks for asking.
Yeah, well, I know you're busy, and so I appreciate your time today. And we definitely want to talk about Construction Inclusion Week. I was wondering though if we could just begin by if you could just introduce yourself briefly to people who might not be familiar with the work that you do. I know from your bio and just having known you through the years, you're a 28-year industry veteran, served on numerous boards and a lot of community involvement. Just reading from your bio here, Minnesota Children's Minnesota Hospital, Minneapolis YMCA, Minnesota Twins Community Fund, National Association of Minority Contractors, Association of Women Contractors, Dunwoody Academy, Twin Cities Rise, and Alexandra House. Those are just some of the boards you've served on. So that's great. I wonder if you could just talk about that and kind of how you got started in the construction industry and some of the different hats you've worn through the years.
Sure. Yeah, I've been with Mortenson for 26 years, in the industry, like you said, 28, 30 years, and really all around the space about how can we, as an industry and as an organization, positively empower communities in which we live and work. And so the levers we use to do that is really about through supplier diversity, through workforce diversity, through community engagement, right? How can we use our projects and the work we do to make a difference in community? So I lead our team behind strategies and initiatives to just make sure we find communities and leave them in a better place than we found them when we came in to build is really my role in the organization. Um, and so I've been doing that most of my career. It's a passion of mine, right? About how again, can we make a difference? How can we make a difference in people's lives? How can we help them better their position, their situation? How can we expose and create opportunity for businesses and individuals who historically have not been represented in our industry? And so that's the work I lead in our organization.
And with all the years that you've been in construction, can you talk a little bit about how things have changed since when you first got involved and how where we're at now in terms of in terms of diversity and inclusion?
Oh, good question, Brian. I'd say what I've seen the most in my, almost 30 years in our industry really has been this paradigm shift from being kind of reactive, right, to being proactive in the space. And what I mean by that is I'd say early on, our response as an industry to diversity, equity, and inclusion was really all around just responding to customers' requests and primarily public sector customers, right? In terms of we have goals on our projects, and what are you going to do to meet those goals? And it really was kind of this what I call kind of check the box exercise to just be like, okay, I just need to figure out a way to meet the goals for my customer to keep them happy, but really wasn't thinking about what are those programs really intended to do, right? I equate this to being focused on the how and not the why, right? About what's the intent behind those. And so what I've seen over the years has been a shift from just the mechanics of the how to people being interested in the why and what we're doing and being more intentional about developing relationships with diverse businesses, kind of meeting them where they are, realizing that what we're attempting to do and what we want to do is help them grow and develop versus just being able to say, I met a goal. So I'd say that's the biggest shift I've seen in our industry in the years I've been here.
Yeah, and can you talk about, we often talk about diversity, inclusion, it's the right thing to do, and it's a good thing to do to be more diverse, but obviously there's a business case for it as well when everybody's competing for workers and for the best and brightest talent. Can you touch on that a little bit?
I mean, absolutely. You hit it right on the head. I mean, it's really a business imperative. If you really are, as an industry, as an organization, expect to be competitive in your marketplace, when you think about the pool of workers that exist that really is going to be your pool, you need to be thinking about your strategies to be recruiting and retaining a diverse group of individuals to work for you, because that's the pool of workers that we're all drawing from. So to be able to get that talent, you have to be showing that you have a welcoming and opening environment, that you have a belonging environment, that folks can be their true authentic selves when they come to work for you. And so without all of those mechanisms in place, you're going to struggle as an organization to get people in the door and to retain them. And so that's the lens we all need to be operating in and under right now these days, given the war for talent, given just the shortage of labor we're hearing across all spectrums, right, across all industries. So you're spot on, Brian, about that need to realize it's more than just it's the right thing to do. It's a business imperative for you to stay competitive and for you to be able to grow and advance your organization.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about Construction Inclusion Week. I understand, first of all, that Mortenson's Dan Johnson is a co-chair of the event this year. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. DPR is the chair. We are the co-chair. So Dan's the co-chair, and we will be the chair next year of the event. And so it's a week-long effort to just really have our industry be more open and willing to have conversations around DEI, right? Around where we are as an industry, where individual organizations are. And so this week which is next week, the 17th through the 21st, is really just meant to do that, to help us as an industry just be more open, be willing to have conversations, be willing to be comfortable being uncomfortable in these conversations, and realizing where your organization is not where you need to stay, but it's your starting point, and be willing to take baby steps to move the needle in your organization, which then will move the needle in our industry as a whole.
Great. And I understand there will be, first of all, like 500,000 people participating, which is pretty amazing, and on 5,000 different project sites nationwide. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that works logistically?
Sure. So the way Construction Inclusion Week works is we have developed content, curriculum, and other resources for organizations to just utilize throughout the week. There are daily themes each day, Monday through Friday next week, for the conversations and the resources and the activities and events to be around. And so when you talk about the 500,000, the 5,000, those numbers, it is about all of the different organizations who have registered to say they're going to participate during the week. And so they will be having conversations and activities and events within their office. They will be having those same type of toolbox talks and things on their job sites. And so when you just think about the totality of almost 3,000 companies who have registered, what that will look like over the week.
Excellent. And it looks like there will be different themes on each day of the week, starting with commitment and accountability on Monday, then belonging, supplier diversity, workforce culture, and finally community engagement. So really well-rounded curriculum there. And tell me a little bit more about that and just kind of what people might learn on different days and how it will benefit them.
Sure. I'd say, we were intentional about the themes for each day, so that there was content, I think across all avenues, right, Brian? Commitment and accountability really is talking about the fact that it's not just top down who needs to be invested in this work and in this conversation, that it really is all of our responsibility. And so that day just really talks about that, about how can you as an individual within your organization lean in and lead in this space and hold yourselves and others in your organization accountable. So tools and resources to just help you do that. Belonging really is about your environment and how you can ensure that all the folks who have come from different backgrounds feel like they belong in your organization and feel like that they can really be their true and authentic self. So again, resources, toolbox talks, office talks, videos, to help you have those conversations, be able to have activities to just spur that conversation about what does belonging mean and how does it show up in your organization. Supply diversity is just that, talking about, why is it important for us as an industry to have a diverse vendor pool, and how do we help expand that, grow that, help those firms grow. So just things around that. There's a video between a majority firm and a minority firm talking about what that looks like, what good looks like, what being an ally in that space looks like. So again, it's just, like I said, all of those tools and resources to help firms, regardless of where they are on the spectrum, understand what we mean by all these things, and then how they can lean in wherever they are and start some movement in their organization.
Great. And how did you personally become involved in this, and what's your role in Construction Inclusion Week?
So I am kind of one of Mortenson's representatives on the steering committee that plans the entire week, that develops all the content, talks about what the days are going to be, helped with identify the consultant, do the website, and so it's really just part of the planning team that plans and executes Construction Inclusion Week. Is my role in it.
And it sounds like it's been really popular, that participation is double what it was last year. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost more than double. We had about 1,200 firms who registered last year, and we were at 2,900 and growing so far. So it has definitely resonated with organizations and businesses in our industry, which we think is a wonderful thing, knowing that that the conversation needed to take place. And I think what we find a lot is folks don't know kind of how to start, so then you kind of don't start. And so what we saw this as was a way to help our industry, help organizations start the conversation. And so we are really extremely pleased about the response we got last year inaugurally, and definitely this year, knowing then that it is resonating, and there definitely is a need for all of this resource in this information that we're providing to our industry.
Okay. And how can people participate and learn more about this?
So we have a website, constructioninclusionweek.org.com, I think where all of the information is there. It gives you the content for each day. There is a DEI maturity assessment that you can take to determine kind of what level of the content you should be engaging at. The daily videos are posted there, and all this additional resource. And so firms really can sign up to participate, can get access to all of the content to really just start to have conversation within their organization, to do some of the activities. There's facilitators guides. So we've provided all of the information so that folks don't feel like they have to, go figure out where to start. We've provided all of that for them. Like I said, it starts Monday morning. Is the first day. There'll be a kickoff video from all of the 6 CEOs from, who are the 6 founding companies of Construction Inclusion Week, and then activities and events for companies to participate in their offices and on their project sites.
Okay. And were you involved in last year's event?
I was, yeah. So we're one of the 6 founding firms, and so I was on the steering committee, the planning committee last year also.
Okay. Did you get a lot of good feedback from folks who participated?
We did. We got a lot of feedback in terms of, I think, just the resources that we provided, right? Just in terms of how companies can start to have the conversation, Brian, right? To lean in. I think for them to be able to have conversations in their offices, for them to be able to have conversations on their job sites. So I think what we call the table talks, the toolbox talks, just all of that information and resources that we provided was very well received. I think one of the things we heard last year and we tried to implement this year was a little more kind of like live events. And so we've hosted a couple leading up to Construction Inclusion Week. There'll be several this week across the country. But it was very positively received, and we think by, again, all of the firms that have registered this year, almost 3,000, definitely says that folks are excited about this year's Construction Inclusion Week also.
Well, great. It sure sounds like there's a lot of value and learning opportunities there. So this is pretty exciting, and hopefully it'll continue on for years to come.
That is the hope for it to continue on, for it to evolve, potentially to become kind of a conference as opposed to just kind of go get materials and do things on your own individually. And so yeah, our plan is to for next year to create better content for firms, potentially regional events, so that there can be some more in person and folks be able to convene together and have conversations across organizations as opposed to just within your organization. So the intent, yeah, is for this to be an ongoing effort, an initiative for our industry.
Wonderful. Well, good luck with the event. And do you have any parting thoughts before I let you go?
I think the only thing I would say it's from from an individual who's been involved in our industry for 30 years, who's been part of this planning committee since we decided to have this event. It really is heartwarming to just see the level of engagement in our industry for this event, and so it really does speak about firms really wanting to lean into this work, lean into this space, and make a difference, make our industry be even that much more welcoming to individuals who historically haven't been part of our industry, to individuals who look more like me, right? And so that feels good to know that what we thought would resonate is resonating, and resonating on the scale that it is, Brian.
Wonderful. Well, again, good luck. Excuse the kitty cat in the background. I don't know if you heard her, but I think she's getting hungry, and so she's making her presence known here. But thank you again for joining us. And Lynn, if you have a photo of yourself that you could send us here by email, or that'd be great. We would love to include that in with the print version of our articles. So and that's about all I have. It sounds like a great event, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you
Brian,
for your interest in it, and we do have a headshot we'll send over to you, Brian.
yeah, I already sent it
Great.
to you, Brian. It's in your inbox.
Oh, perfect. So you're way ahead of me. All right. Thank you, Cam and Lynn. Have a good day.
You
Thanks,
too.
Brian.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.